Hello and welcome to Mindful Mondays. I am going to talk a bit about mindfulness and substance use and kind of how those two might in some ways connect and in some ways not always connect. It might be kind of a unique pairing, but one that I think is important. Given that I know I have just read a few articles recently that have said that alcohol and substance use has gone up since the shelter-in-place order has come into place, and I am in no way endorsing using substances or drinking. I'm just simply saying if it's the reality of the kind of world that we live in right now, and some people do choose to drink and use substances, why not do it in a smart, healthy, responsible way, and in a way that can actually be mindful in some ways. Not maybe the most traditional pairing, mindfulness and substance use, but I think an important one to remain healthy. So I want to do a few things today. I want to talk about this difference between healthy, smart, and responsible use and problematic use, and how maybe mindfulness, this idea of being intentional and thoughtful and aware about all of the actions and things that we're doing, how we can bring that to both our decision-making process around drugs and alcohol, but also to the actual use and the consumption of substances. So let's just start with some warning signs, some concerns that might raise a red flag and say, hey, maybe I'm using substances a bit too much right now. Maybe this is becoming a problem for me. There's a few really important ones to consider, and I'm going to use alcohol in this list as the kind of default just because it's the most widely used substance, but you can substitute alcohol with marijuana or just about any substance that you'd like. So these are some warning signs of problematic use. Continued use despite negative consequences. Drinking involves the process of just simply getting drunk, like that's the only goal of the use. Or if you're smoking marijuana, it's just to get high, not to enjoy the experience that you're having in the moment. And in some ways, substance use, when substances are abused, it's actually the exact opposite. It's used as an escape from the experience that you're having in that moment. Another symptom or sign of problematic use could be having problems with work or school or relationships, needing a drink in order to get over a hangover, failed attempts to cut back on drinking or using, increased tolerance, or this need to use a substance in order to get the desired effect that you want, blackouts, can't stop with just one, a family history of substance use. Has anyone asked you to cut down on your use? That could be a sign. Someone pointing out to you, you're using more than other people are, you're using more than you typically do, you're using in kind of an unhealthy way. If you yourself begin to feel guilty about your use, it's another kind of way that mindfulness and substance use can kind of interact a little bit. Learning to be open and aware to what your body and your mind is kind of telling you. What is that anxiety? What is that guilt? What is that negative emotion telling you about your experience in the present moment? If you're feeling guilty, you just think, what might that be kind of telling you about your use? And maybe what might that be telling you about your need to cut back or even eliminate the use right now? Drinking alone could be, or using a substance alone could be another sign. I like to think of this as kind of a very pragmatic or practical approach here. If you're choosing to use a substance, and again, I'm not encouraging anyone to use, but if you're choosing to drink, say, wouldn't you want to drink and get the most enjoyment out of that and actually enjoy the very thing that you're choosing to use, and enjoy your experience of it, and enjoy the way that it makes you experience the world in maybe a slightly different way, rather than trying to use a substance to escape the experience that you're having in that moment. And that's another way to kind of incorporate mindfulness is if you're going to say drink a glass of wine or craft beer or whiskey or any other kind of alcohol, using the same techniques that you can use with mindful eating, slowing down, actually being attentive to the way that that substance is making you feel. If it's something that you particularly enjoy, thinking about all of the dimensions that and sort of the ways of experiencing that drink that happens in the moment. Maybe there's a kind of fizzy, bubbly sensation if you're drinking a beer, or maybe there's a sweet sensation if you're drinking a wine. Kind of being really aware of all of those ways that that substance is interacting with your body. And I think that's going to do a couple of things. That's going to help you to actually enjoy the substance that you're choosing to use, but also maybe help you to do the things like to safely and responsibly and healthily consume that. So you're not just chugging the thing, you're not just kind of mindlessly consuming the substance, but you're actually taking the time to experience it. So this is a really quick primer and really quick intro to a combination of substance use and mindfulness. I hope you found this